This is the 5-inch Huawei Nova, and it's the first in Huawei's new range of mid-range phones. There's a lot to like here, but at £350 or $450, it's simply far too expensive considering the competition, which makes it difficult to recommend. 2016 has been a great year for Huawei. Not only did they release their flagship P9, but also more recently their huge but also awesome Mate 9 phone, which I have right here and I reviewed just the other day. So it's been a big year, but the problem is these are both flagship high-end and expensive phones, and that's where the new Nova comes in. This is a decent mid-range option that doesn't break the bank. The first thing you'll notice about the Nova is just how seriously good looking this phone is. It's got an all metal unibody, thin bezels, rounded corners and a gorgeous 5-inch full HD screen, which gives the flagships a run for their money. It's comfortable to use one-handed too, the rear fingerprint reader is responsive and the phone easily fits in your pocket. Basically, first impressions are excellent. Inside you get a Snapdragon 625 processor and 3GB of RAM. Now the 625 isn't going to break any benchmark records, it's not going to go against the S7 or the iPhone 7 in terms of sort of raw power, but it's actually pretty capable. It'll easily run any app or game you throw at it from the Google Play Store. You get a pretty generous amount of storage too, with 32GB built in and support for micro SD cards. But what does let the phone down a bit is the software. There's nothing wrong with Android 6 or Huawei's own EMUI 4.1 software, but they're just starting to look a little bit dated. There's no app drawer, the icons look just a bit cartoonish, and having reviewed the Mate 9 recently, which comes with the latest Android 7 and EMUI 5.0, I'm really hoping this Nova gets an update sooner rather than later. The software is just holding it back a little bit. But to be fair, where it counts, the Nova does deliver. Booting up, swiping between home screens, launching apps and playing games is all fast and fluid despite the mid-range hardware. Battery life is also surprisingly good, with a 3020 mAh battery inside, comfortably powering through a full workday and a good few hours into the next. Huawei claim you'll get 2 days out of it, which is a bit unrealistic, but I still get great battery life out of this. I'd say at least a full day, maybe a day and a half. And the best news is it also supports fast charging through the USB Type-C port. So if you're running low, just pop it into the charger for 10-15 minutes and you should get enough charge to last through the entire day. So battery life is actually pretty great, but less impressive is the camera quality. And it's always something we find with these lower end or budget or mid-range phones. Camera quality is always the thing that's most affected, most visibly different. You get a 12 megapixel f2.2 aperture camera, which is usable, but it really struggles in low light and has pretty terrible dynamic range. Bright areas are blown out and darker areas lack detail. The Nova here may be considered mid-range, but for £350 I did expect a lot better from this. The front-facing 8 megapixel selfie camera is pretty average too, and while there's lots of fun modes to choose from, don't expect a particularly high quality selfie from it. So overall, the Huawei Nova is actually a pretty good phone. Don't get me wrong, I really do like it, but the problem is, the elephant in the room, is that if you just pay an extra £30 or $50 thereabouts, you can get the much better OnePlus 3T, or even the now heavily discounted LG G5, which are both proper flagships and better in pretty much every way than the Nova. So that really is the issue. If this was cheaper, and maybe if the software gets updated to Android 7 or EMUI 5, it would be a solid choice. But as it stands, it's just too expensive, and for similar money, I'd have to recommend the OnePlus 3T or the G5, as I say. It's a shame too, the Nova looks stunning, it's got a great screen, solid performance, and good battery life. It really is a good phone, but for the price, considering the competition, it just doesn't stack up. So that is the Huawei Nova. I like it, but I wouldn't buy it. But let me know what you think in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I hope you'll join me right here next time on the Tech Chat.